Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to this week's episode of GCC's Georgia Chiro Connection. I'm your host, Dr. Kathy, and today I'm pretty excited because we've got an event coming up in just a few weeks in South Georgia. And today we have two of our speakers that are really going to come on today, talk a little bit about the philosophy and practice and the research that's backing that up, and really how to keep your practice going and exciting and keep people engaged with what we do so that we can have a true impact on our community. So today we have Dr. Dean Fuller and we've got Dr. Dusty Large. So hi guys, how you doing today? All right, so we lost somebody's audio, so unmute yourself. Are you not hearing me? Okay. Dr. Dean, can you hear me? Let's see. Kat, we have a little bit of an audio issue, so I'm going to make sure that our guys have their volume turned up so that we can hear.
Hey guys, can anybody hear me?
Kat, I can hear you, but I don't think anybody else is hearing you or me.
Okay, Dr. Fuller.
Okay, there we go.
All right.
All right.
How about
I'm
Dusty?
in.
Dr. Dusty does not hear us still.
Okay, Dr. Dusty. I'm going to kick Dr. Dusty out and have him reconnect.
Okay. So Dr. Dean, you and I will go on for a moment as Dr. Dusty is being removed and brought back in. Dr. Dean, you can hear me?
Sure can.
All right, fantastic. So let's just jump right in. I know I'm pretty excited that you're going to be joining us for that June 25th, June 26th, South Georgia CE. But I really want to talk to you about keeping that philosophy in your practice and keeping your practice growing and healthy and what you do in your multiple offices.
Well, I think that, the key is in practice for your practice and in your life is, living by the philosophy of principled chiropractic. So if you are a principled chiropractor at heart, then everything you do and your identity comes from that place. So as a principled chiropractor, it's not just in my practice, but it's in my life. So how you live your life in your identity of how you see yourself and how you see your family and how you just live your life as a chiropractor. So philosophy, basically the definition of philosophy is the love of wisdom. So we all want to be wise, right? So the wisest become the most successful. And success, I love the definition is that it's the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So it's the person who says to themselves, I'm going to become this and actually work towards that. It's not how much money you have. It's not a specific where you're going, but it's how you have created where you're going and setting that self up. And so in your practice, philosophy allows for you to say, okay, this is my ideal. What ideal patient do you want to have? Do you want to have a patient who's coming in for the rest of their life, who comes in for wellness care, for optimum health? Or do you want to have a symptom-based practice that's stressed out, that has all of its focus and your ideal on, oh, let me get this person out of pain? Instead, what about an ideal practice that says, hey, I'd like to see families. I get adjusted. I'm a chiropractor. I adjust my children. I adjust my family. So when your kids lay on the table and they get an adjustment from you, how often do you check them? Do you check them once a week? Do you check them once a year? Do you only check them when they're in pain? So, how you do your life and your family's life is really how you should do your practice, because then you wind up, and it's very easy to educate your patients because it's how you live your life. So, for me, being subluxation free is the most important aspect of my health. And so as a result, it's very easy for me to educate everyone on the importance of subluxation and the correction of subluxation, because I realize that innate intelligence is the main thing that is expressing itself in for the health of my body. So when we start educating our patients in just the rationality and the common sense that you need to live your life subluxation free so you can be the utmost of who you can be, it becomes very easy to practice. And it's not a thing about convincing people. It's not a thing about pushing people. And I love the phrase by John Maxwell that said, we'll never know how much you know until they know how much you care. So if you care about your practice members and their life and their health, and you know that subluxations cause them to die early, to not express their utmost God-given potential, then obviously we want them to know that. I want my family to be subluxation free. I want my children to be subluxation free. I want my grandchild to be subluxation free. I want everyone to be subluxation free. So when it becomes part of who you are, then you just ooze this, whether I'm at the grocery store or I'm out playing golf, and I get minimum 4 or 5 new patients every week just by being in the community. And when I go talk to somebody and I'm just like, hey, you know, do you have a chiropractor? Oh, no. Well, man, you need a chiropractor to be healthy. And then, you know, oh, I've got these problems. I got this or whatever, or I want to be healthy, or I've got this. And all of a sudden your practice is just this dynamic, amazing, happy, wonderful place that's not pain-based, that's not sick-based, but it's a place of life and health and vibrance and everything. I mean, and I think this is interesting, because if we ask the question, would you like your practice to be enjoyable and fun? I've been in practice for 30 years, seeing thousands of people a week. I'm more excited than I was when I started, because I love seeing families. I love the enjoyment of people coming in the door. And so if you ask the question, would you like your practice to be fun and happy and with families who love to get adjusted and stay healthy? I think everyone would say that would be amazing. So You have to know philosophy. You have to be able to communicate philosophy to the importance of it so that they will desire to have that lifestyle. And then your practice is so easy. I'm not stressed out. I don't have to go market my practice on the weekends. I'm a referral-based practice, seeing thousands of people a week. I don't have to go market. I don't have to do that, because it's all based on education, and they're so excited that they go out and telling everyone. So I love philosophy. I think that everyone should come to this to the conference and learn more. We're going to be talking about philosophy. We're going to be talking about how to build your practice. We're going to be talking about the stuff that I'm asked to speak all over the country. And it's like, hey, I'm in your own back door. Why not just come over here, get your hours, and get some stuff that you can take home with you in practice, ask me questions, be able to say, hey, how do you do a principal doctor's report? How do you educate a patient? Get some questions, ask me. You know, when you have somebody that doesn't want to be under proper care for a year under the beginning of care, how do you educate them to get to the point where they want to come for care, where they want to do wellness, where they want to bring their family? So there's some really good things and takeaways that you can bring to the conference and say, get yourself 10 questions, tough questions. I've been in practice for a long, long time. So bring your tough questions, bring your tough stuff, and let's help you guys that you want, because we love chiropractic. We want you to be as successful as possible.
I love it. And what I'm hearing from you, if I were to sum it up in one word, is congruency. You know, all too often I talk to doctors or I'm around people who they spew one thing, but they actually do something different. So they may talk God, family, chiropractic, but when it comes to their own family, they're not doing the right thing. Or when it comes to adjusting their children, they don't do it all the time on a regular basis. They just do it on a pain-based model. And then they can't understand why patients aren't connecting with what they say. And if I listen to what you just said, basically I heard live it, breathe it, be it, right? Be, do, have, be that principal person, live that lifestyle, do what a principal person will do, and you'll have that busy practice. And when you kind of put it all together like that, it completely makes sense. If this is how you raise your family, wouldn't you want the same thing for your community, for your patients, for your prospective patients? Absolutely. So I love your passion. I love your enthusiasm. I'm excited to hear what you have to share in just 2 weeks. So I'm really excited for all the docs that are coming to hear that same energy from you. But like Dr. Dean said, bring your questions, if you're going to bring your team, if you're going to bring your staff, bring them and let them soak up this level of enthusiasm, this level of philosophy, this level of the grounding in the principles of chiropractic.
And I will say this. What I challenge you to do is go on to my website or onto Fuller Life Chiropractic and look at the reviews. Just go to like our Peachtree City office and look at the 300 reviews or whatever's on there, but read them, because they will sound like the most principled chiropractors, but they're patients. It takes time and repetition to get better. It is all about health. This place is a godly place. We teach, it's all about congruency. And I love the word congruency. And I'll even say even deeper is when you can have congruency, but it's not who you are. Who you are in your identity is how you see God put you. and who you are as your identity of how I see myself. And I think that as chiropractors, we've been chosen by God to be in this amazing profession. He could have chosen anybody, any of you, to do anything else, but he chose you to learn about chiropractic, to give out something natural that's amazing and that can benefit people. So who you are is the most important of your identity, how you see God created you to be and to be part of that, because then it becomes everything. Like you get up in the morning, it's your identity. I identify myself as a principled chiropractor who is serving God by serving people. So that allows for that enthusiasm to come through, because if it's just cheap enthusiasm where you're jumping up and down and rah-rahing, you won't have it. But
People
that passion where it's your identity and who you see, how God sees you, you get up every single day and excited.
Yeah. And people are attracted to that. They always say be on fire for chiropractic because people want to come watch you burn. Like, people want to be around that energy. So thank you. I really appreciate you sharing that. Dr. Dusty, we're going to talk a little bit about how the philosophy and the research are really coming together and connecting, because I know that's one of the things that you're going to touch on at this event. So talk to us a little bit about how you're starting to see like the validation of, all the way back to Dee Dee's work.
Yeah, absolutely. So several months ago, I was fortunate enough to be at a conference where I got to see Dee Harrison speak. If anybody knows who Dee Harrison is, he's
awesome. He's
awesome.
A great guy, great
amazing.
Doctor, great researcher. Yes.
Yeah, he's awesome. The research him and his team puts out is phenomenal. A lot of it is postural based, angle based, curve based type posture, which really resonates with me personally. A lot of his research just validates the fact that subluxation, in any form that you may interpret it to be, because again, we all know that there's many different models of subluxation, many different models of care, but all of it is validated through his research, through posture, through curve correction, through proper alignment of the spine, which I think just, for me, is super analytical. That really ignites my fire. And it's really cool for me to see those changes, not only people's health through their care, through their corrective care, but also the changes in their spine as well, because it's one thing to feel better, but it's a whole nother ballgame to actually be able to measure and see the changes, which for me is just phenomenal.
Right. And I love seeing those changes in the x-rays. Yeah. I'm a CBP doc myself, full spine diversified, but CBP is my focus. Just reached out to Deed about a patient Monday who had 4 cervical arteries, 3 of them dissected, and, had a stroke. And we're going to be setting her up on a Denny roll, long-term patient, very, very long-term patient, but congenital anomaly. And he is one of those people that just jumps right in and gives you the information you need, connects you with the right info, the right research, whatever it is that you need. He's always there. And I'm so appreciative of him. I'm so appreciative of his dad, which is how I learned CBP under Deed and Don. But yeah, I love that you're going to be connecting that for us, because there's a lot of people that want that research. They want that validation. And there's a lot of people that stand in between that space of being philosophy driven and then people that want to be validated. And I think that you can be both. I think that you can use the research. I think that you can use the philosophy. I think they both come into play, and it's a great way to help educate our communities. But talk to us a little bit about some of the pretty cool stuff that you've seen in your office recently.
Yeah, so recently, some of the bigger changes that we've seen are, obviously we all have our miracle stories, right? And it's great to have those stories. And a lot of the research coming up now is actually validating why those miracles are happening, which I think is pretty cool. Particularly a lot of the upper cervical work that not upper cervical work, but where we target more of the upper cervical subluxations. You start to see people coming off migraine medications, stopping having seizures. People are no longer having seizures. People are really reducing a lot of the things in their life that are just detrimental to their health in general. I think just like Dr. Dean was talking about, if you just start dripping on these people as they're coming into the office and getting to really change their habits and their lifestyles, and like Dr. Dean was saying, being congruent, not just the care in your office and what they're doing, but also with what they're doing at home to take care of themselves. For me, the pride really comes in when people start making those changes and you really start seeing those health outcomes become better. And it's almost like you see life start to come back in these people after time. And for me, that's just one of the most rewarding aspects of practice and what we do as chiropractors.
I love it. And I can't tell you how many times I've been out in the community and had someone come up and say, hey, I see that you're so involved in the community. I appreciate you for being out here. I already go to another chiropractor, but I just want to stop by and say hi. And the reason that is a big deal to me is because that's walking that walk and talking that talk. That's living, breathing, being who you say you're going to be. That's that congruency. That's living that principle-based life that's standing on a firm, solid philosophy that drives everything we say, everything we do, and who we actually be. So I love the idea of sharing this kind of conversation with both of you. We've got just a minute or two more, so I want to kind of go back to Dr. Dean, then Dr. Dusty, I'll come back to you. Dr. Dean, give us just about another minute or so of just some of your awesomeness.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, I also do CBP. So, I also, used to teach Gonstead and certified in torque release. And I think that, the key in practice is, what do you feel removes subluxation with a consistency, allowing for innate intelligence to best express itself? Because I think that builds your confidence, and it builds your confidence in removal of subluxation, which allows for time and repetition. Because whether you're doing torque release, whether you're doing Gonstead, whether you're doing CBP, all of these things allow for a longer period of time. And the thing that I feel that chiropractors are missing when they're just pain-based chiropractors is they're not seeing the long-term changes, because innate is not on the job, because it's getting subluxated, so the patients don't have time to recover from their high blood pressures, their heart problems, their digestive problems, their other things, boost their immune systems enough to see changes. It is interesting. I mean, we all have these amazing testimonies. I'll give you one, just real quick one. Two of them came in the office on one day, and it was just really quick. The first one was, we do a lot of stuff with the Better Way Ministries out here, which is an addiction program for, and I do a lot of the torque release work in the upper cervical spine that helps with addiction and serotonin levels in the lower portion of the brain. Well, anyways, one of the guys who came in, he's been coming for, I said, hey, he said, I think I should do a testimony for your office. And I said, well, why don't you do a review? He said, I think I need to do that. I said, well, why don't you tell me what has been good? What's been good for you? He said, well, I came in about 12 years ago, addicted to opioids. I had so much pain and so many problems that I became addicted. The doctors got me all these meds, and I became addicted. I lost my family, I lost my job, and I had to go to the Better Way Ministries. And they sent me here to you, and you started working on my spine, and my addiction went away, my problems went away, and I've been going for the last 12 years over to you, and I've gotten my life back. I actually make for Chick-fil-A's. All the Chick-fil-A's have a table in the center of the Chick-fil-A's, and underneath there's a Bible verse. So if any of you ever go to a Chick-fil-A and a chiropractor, go to the Chick-fil-A, look at the center table. In every Chick-fil-A across the country, there is a table, and underneath it has a Bible verse on it. It's a center table for every Chick-fil-A. And he said, I'm the one who builds all of those for all of the Chick-fil-A's. And when I do, I put a Bible verse, and I say, I make a prayer for everyone in that community. And I also pray that they would be under chiropractic care so that they would save their lives. And I'm just like, wow, that's a pretty good testimony. And it's amazing. It's amazing, because most people, if someone heard that, they would be calling the news, they would be doing all these things. But when you're a lifetime principled chiropractor, you hear so many testimonies like this that literally it's like, oh, that's pretty darn good. And let's go to the next room. And I think that that's what is so exciting, and it makes your practice so amazing. So if you'd like to have incredible testimonies, life-changing testimonies from people getting off all these meds and basically having a prescription, no prescriptions going on, and their life is just full of health and well-being, and they've been coming to you, they're bringing their children, they're bringing their grandchildren, and you're just so excited to see them, because they're not just patients, they're your friends. You have to do principle-based chiropractic, because you're never going to see these amazing, incredible results. And I'm sure Dr. Dusty will affirm that, as he's gone into CBP, and the longer time the patients have been coming, and you do a care plan, it takes a year and a half, and you're working for curve correction, and you're doing all these things. That length of time allows for, through re-exams and proper reassessments, you can see amazing changes. And these people are like, wow, this is incredible. And that's where I think, if you'll just learn how to do good scientific principle-based care, you will see amazing results that will allow for you to just so enjoy your practice that even after 30 years, you'll be ready to go to work tomorrow.
Love it. You're so on fire. I love it. That's what we need to hear. That fire is what fires everybody up, and it's contagious. You get around someone who's super on fire for chiropractic. That's why we go to philosophy seminars. That's why we go to DE, or we go to the continuing ed, or why we have our nuts and bolts or our fired up philosophy. You know, the different events that we do just really help ground you back to why we do what we do, so you can go back out into your community just completely burning to help people. Dr. Dusty, give us 1 more minute for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So another reason why people should come to the CE event is, you know, what I want to try to do is attempt to bridge the gap between some of the philosophy and science, and not necessarily really dig into all the different styles of care, different subluxation theories and whatnot, but really for someone who's analytical like me, having the science, the research, literature really helps, like Dr. Dean said, just affirm what we're doing here and build the confidence in your practice, so that way you can be on fire and see those changes and make those changes in people's lives, and not do it just because because of people feeling better, right? That's not what it's about. You want to make those changes, and you want to be able to see those changes and measure them. And that's where some of the research and literature and trying to bridge the gap between philosophy and science is going to occur with what I'm going to be talking about, and kind of sharing some of my background of how I was not philosophical at all, and then how I'm more aligned with the philosophy of chiropractic and subluxation, and just kind of that journey, and try to take everyone through basically telling my story essentially, and how bridge the gap from non-philosophical to philosophical, but also utilizing the research to get there. So
I love it. I love it. Fantastic. Listen, you guys got me fired up. I got students filtering into my office right now. I can see them all walking by, and I'm like, I'm on fire. Let's go talk. Let's go break it down. Let's go have some philosophy session. Let's really stay engaged and stay fired up with this, because this is what we offer our communities that is so different from anything else they get. People walk into all of our offices excited, happy. You know, for me, the music is always upbeat. We're having a good time. It's a very positive place. It's filled with a lot of hope. It's filled with a lot of potential. I know your offices are the same. I know most principal chiropractic offices are the same. And that's different than what they get just about any place else they go.
Yeah, it's a good word.
Fantastic. Listen, guys, thank you so much for taking the time out. I know you got to get back to your busy offices. I want to remind everybody, check out our Facebook page, check out our website, georgiachiropractic.org, and join us June 25th and 26th for our South Georgia CE. There's all the information right there on your screen. You can put a comment below if you want Kat, our executive director, to reach out to you and get you registered, or you can just jump onto our website and get yourself registered. We look forward to seeing you there, and all of our other events that are coming up. I know they were along the bottom of the screen, but those are on our website. So thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode of Georgia's Chiro Connection. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.